The fans want to see blood, sweat, and tears. He's always in tremendous fights, and he's a very exciting knockout artist. And that's what boxing is about. It's about giving the people and the fans what they want to see.
Just coming up in weight. He came up in weight too. I don't see. Honestly, I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past.
Saying have a fight, yes, but have it at 140. Fighting anyone at 140 would be more exciting than this fight against Lamont Roach.
Floyd Mayweather analyzed the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach showdown, emphasizing Tank's unmatched power, speed, and experience. While he respects Roach's skills, Mayweather doubts he has the strength to endure Davis's relentless pressure and explosive knockout ability.
But I must say this, the most exciting fighter that's acting and fighting in boxing right now is Gervonta "Tank" Davis. When Gervonta "Tank" Davis go out there and fight, he reminds me of Pretty Boy Floyd. Because Pretty Boy Floyd, you couldn't go get no popcorn, you couldn't go get no soda, you couldn't go get no candy. You don't want to miss nothing.
Respected boxing analyst Al Bernstein has voiced skepticism about Lamont Roach's chances against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He points out that Roach's past performances lack the power needed to challenge a dominant champion like Davis, who boasts an outstanding record and multiple titles. Bernstein's take has fueled debate over the fight's competitiveness.
Too about the big one coming up in a month. Another guy you called several of his fights, Gervonta Davis, fighting Lamont Roach, is a significant favorite. Do you think Roach is being undervalued as an underdog, or it will probably go the way people think it will go?
Roach is coming up in weight. He came up in weight too. I don't see. Honestly, I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past tells me he's going to beat Gervonta Davis or even be competitive with him. And I'm not. It's not a denigration of Lamont Roach. He's a good fighter. He won a title at a lower weight, and that was a surprise to some people that he did get, even though he was a good prospect. So it's just hard to imagine him beating Davis.
The other Davis is fighting for a world title 2 weeks before in New York against Baranchik.
Oh yeah, Keyshawn Davis. That's a fascinating fight.
The Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Lamont Roach fight has sparked debate, with some calling it a cherry pick due to Roach moving up in weight. Former pro boxer DeWood Bay highlights the strong boxing roots of DC and Baltimore, believing Roach's camp will make it competitive. He notes Davis will face criticism until he fights top names like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney, but expects a high-energy DMV showdown.
Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach. A lot of people shitting on the fight. A lot of people saying it's a cherry pick. A lot of people saying that, or criticizing Tank for bringing Lamont up to 130. What's your thoughts on that?
I think if you understand the history of DC and Baltimore, and then I'm familiar with Roach and them camp a little bit because I'm cool with people that's tight with them and stuff like that. So we all kind of encounter each other. I don't live nothing but 2.5 hours away, right? I wouldn't see none of them coming and laying down. And then Tank is Tank. I think you're going to get a DMV classic. Like, you're going to get a good fight. They're going to fight each other. Lamont going to fight Tank. You know what I'm saying? So for however long it lasts, or for however long the fireworks is, you know what I mean, going off, he going to fight him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he going to come out there to lay down. So, I don't know. I mean, people going to criticize you no matter what, though, once you get in, like, tank position. It don't really matter what you do. Like, if you wasn't fighting, like, Shakur or Devin right now in this next fight, it's probably, like, 3 people he could be fighting, and nobody wouldn't have nothing to say. You understand what I'm trying to say? Not to say that some fights can't be, like, better than others or whatever, but, yeah, if he wasn't fighting Devin, Shakur, or, like, Tiafimo, then somebody gonna say, like, it's a cherry pick or everything. I mean, everybody's a cherry pick. Leave it up to them.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis's decision to fight Lamont Roach has drawn criticism, with many questioning why he isn't facing elite contenders like Shakur Stevenson. Critics argue Roach is a less formidable opponent, fueling claims of cherry-picking and sparking debate over Davis's willingness to take on the division's best.
The biggest puncher, I feel, at the 135 will probably be Gervonta "Tank" Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevens.
And what is it about him? Because I know he have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. And Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there. He's asking, can he fight the best? I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to that next level and give him the fights that he wants.
Although Lamont Roach is a world champion, he remains relatively unknown, fueling claims that Gervonta Tank Davis chose an easier fight. However, Roach's supporters see his underdog status as an advantage, believing he could surprise those who underestimate him. Boxing analyst Shields recognizes Roach's potential, but stresses Davis's elite skills and proven track record.
Garcia beat him, so Lamont Roach is a good fighter, but and I'm happy to see a fighter like Lamont Roach, who's had to come up the blue-collar way, get a big opportunity, get a big payday. But now that I've said that, it's an underwhelming fight, and everybody's saying that because it's true. And this is a fight that would have made more sense for Gervonta Davis a couple years ago, back when Gary Russell was rumored as an opponent. And this would be, like a good DMV rivalry, two guys from the DMV area. But in 2024, when Tank's already headlined a lot of pay-per-views, it's underwhelming. And, before the Gervonta Davis fans try to come at my throat, I get it. Lomachenko walked away from the table. Of course, that's after, some years earlier of Tank saying he wasn't interested in that fight. Fight was never officially negotiated by Top Rank or PBC, but for years, Gervonta had no real intention of fighting Lomachenko, and now Lomachenko has walked away from the table now that the fight's available. I understand that. I understand Shakur Stevenson really is opting more the Williams Zepeda route. I understand that Teofimo Lopez has only really called Davis out once the Lamont Roach fight was really being talked about around Canelo Berlanga fight week and was close to probably being finalized.
De La Hoya agrees, calling Gervonta Tank Davis a beast and admitting that while Lamont Roach is skilled, facing Davis is a massive challenge. He predicts a tough night for Roach against such a dominant opponent.
A terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside that squared circle. It's going to be a tough night for Roach, but you can never count him out. Watching him fight up close and personal, he's sneaky good, which means he can catch you at any time. He can land combinations sometimes at will without you even knowing it. He's that sneaky. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But obviously Gervonta Davis has the experience, he has the knowledge, he has that mean streak in him that will take you out with any punch.
Here's my take on the fight. Everything is true about this situation. One, Gervonta Tank Davis was being ducked leading up to this. Shakur Stevenson ducked him. Lomachenko ducked him openly. El Rayo didn't want to fight this year. He wanted to fight next year. Another thing is, I was hearing that Tank wanted it at 135 and rehydration, all kind of shit. So, but I don't know how true that is, which it wouldn't shock me if that was true. Either way, for whatever reason, El Rayo fell apart. The options were just getting diabolical. All right, I understand that. At the same time, Lamont Roach versus Tank is trash. If Devin Haney announced he was fighting Lamont Roach coming up from 130 next at 135, I'll say that shit's trash. Let me tell you this. To me, Gervonta is far better than Devin Haney. So it's trash, bruh. It's trash.
Reaction to Tank retiring.
He's retiring?
That's what he said.
Nah, he's not retiring. It's a lot of big fights to be made out there, and Tank knows that. I don't think he's gonna retire, with a lot of unfinished business.
What do you make of the Tank versus Roach fight? Do you think it's a fight that Tank should have at this fight point of his career?
No comment.
What do you make of a Tank?
Roach. I'm Lamont Roach. We've been cool since we was in the amateurs. So I'm happy that he got the opportunity, and that's all I can say.
And what about Tank Shakur? If that fight happens in the future, who do you see winning?
It's a good fight for boxing. I think that we should all be fighting each other. That's what boxing is about. It's the best fighting the best.
Big hair, don't care. On the way to the gym, and I'm just like totally perplexed. I see a lot of people on Twitter and on the internet talking about disdain when it comes to, the Tank fight with Lamont Roach. I'm like, what's the problem? They act like Lamont Roach has not fought anybody, and he isn't anybody. His only loss is against a former world champion in Jamel Herring. His last two fights with McCrory and Hector Luis Garcia, they were fire. This is a legitimate matchup. I don't know what the problem is. Everybody says that Tank needs to fight someone. Now he's fighting someone, and people have something to say. Like, what do y'all want? What do y'all want from these guys? These are the matchups we want to see. It's going to be good. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now because I want to see more, but respect to both guys.
Have a fight, yes, but have it at 140. Fighting anyone at 140 would be more exciting than this fight against Lamont Roach. Nothing against Lamont Roach, but I'm telling you, Gervonta Tank Davis fanboys, not the fans, but the fanboys, you're not going to be able to convince people that Lamont Roach is someone to get excited about versus Tank. It's not going to happen. You're going to try to call people casuals or whatever. But really, people who really knows boxing, they know that Gervonta Tank Davis is too much for Lamont Roach, all right? Now, I was saying go up to 140. Fight who, showbiz? Fight anybody. Just have a fight at 140. And when you see in hindsight that Teofimo Lopez and Devin the American Dream Haney is now negotiating for their fight, you can understand now why I would say something like that. He has a fight at 140, then he takes on the Teofimo Lopez and Devin the American Dream Haney winner.